Hey everyone, Experian here, and yes, it is I. It has been quite some time since I have released any content. I know I have been going through quite a lot of situations, or rather, I should say, quite a situation. So, a lot of things have happened, a lot of things have transpired. So that's why I have not made any content anytime soon. In like almost a month, probably more than a month at this point. And I will make videos on what transpired as well, because I do believe that it will help um, people out there who are going through similar situations. Because I do feel like these days we've been experiencing a lot of challenging scenarios and challenging circumstances. So I will eventually share those experiences as to why I've been MIA for so long. But it's good to be back. I'm so happy to be here to just make videos again. So yeah, today I wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking about these past couple of days, and something I posted on my Threads account as well. Um, I'll actually drop the links to my social media in the description if you guys are interested in following me on Instagram, on Threads. I post a lot on Instagram and on Threads, well, as much as I can. Not as much as I used to, but when I do, it's some pretty good content. Where I want to talk more about authenticity. Now, I know it's something where I have talked about before um, on the channel, but there's a myth I'm seeing circulating around that I really wanted to address, and that's the myth that people, they think that this sort of new age spirituality thing going on, where people are saying, oh yes, you gotta be more authentic and just be yourself, and that's great, but people think that it's the be all end all, like as if they finally are able to love themselves and be themselves, who they really are authentically, that it will just magically solve all their problems. And I really want to come here and say to the point, straight up, no, that is not how it works. You're not going to just magically reach nirvana, just because you are now being authentic. You see, being authentic, what it does is that it lessens your suffering. You see, people, they have this myth as if it takes away their suffering. No, it doesn't. You still will experience good and bad in this lifetime. That is inevitable. That is non-negotiable, right? Regardless of what you go through in your life, or where you are in life, or how you were raised, or where you're raised, race, gender, creed, or whatever, religion, it doesn't matter. You will experience both good and bad, right? And there's nothing that you can do that will remove you from experiencing those things, right? Unless you pass on, right? But if you're here living, yeah, that's not something you can just run away from. So being authentic and really embracing that is not just going to magically take you out of any sort of suffering you may be experiencing. However, what it does do is that it lessens that, because you see, us as human beings, we tend to add on to our suffering needlessly. We would already be going through a tough situation, a tough time, and even subconsciously we end up piling more stress onto ourselves. It's crazy. And yet we are known as like the most intelligent, right? We are the most intelligent being, but we can also be quite stupid. In fact, to be honest, our intelligence is our greatest hubris, I would say. Um, but it lessens it. Being authentic, it lessens that suffering, because when you're out in the world, you know, if you're following your soul's purpose, then your soul doesn't feel suffocated. But if you were going out there putting on a mask, not being who you truly are, not following your purpose, you know, you're basically suffocating yourself, which is adding more suffering already to what you're already going through, because you know you're living your life and things happen, you know. I mean, I could give hundreds of examples of just life, you know. I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You wake up in the morning, you know, for some reason you just feel grumpy that morning, you know. You're driving to work, somebody gives you a bad drive, cuts you off, gets you upset. Oh my goodness. Something happens at work, gets you upset. Any amount of things. These are just small things. It could even be big things as well. You know, you receive bad news of whatever the case may be. You know, there's already so much in life that we already have to deal with, right? So much in life. So the least you could do for yourself is be your biggest cheerleader, is be yourself. Love yourself. Be true to yourself. You know, that's the least you could do. Because at least when you do that, you know, you're not adding on to the suffering that you are already experiencing or going through. You know, so it's something that I really wanted to just come on and talk about, because I don't know where the myth started spreading that, you know, oh, if you're just keep on embodying authenticity and self-love and all that, and everything will be solved. I mean, it doesn't work like that, you know what I mean? It doesn't just remove you from reality. Let's put it that way. Right? But at the very least, you know, when you do that, you're not adding on to the suffering, which is something that is important, you know, because it plays into the self-love. It plays into, well, obviously if you loved yourself and you really cared about yourself, you wouldn't want to add any needless suffering onto yourself. All right. Whoa. The wind is blowing my camera off, my phone off rather. I got a new stand for my phone as well. I don't know if you guys remember, but the stand I was using before broke. I got a new stand, although to be honest, I feel like it's honestly just not good quality. It's just not a good quality stand, you know. The more I try to use it, the more I'm realizing that it is just not the greatest. It has difficulty standing up, but I'm making do with what I got, you know. I'm making do. I'm not gonna let that bother me. See, plays into the self-love. But yeah, just something I just wanted to talk about, just about that, you know, just about bringing that enlightenment or that piece of knowledge to people, so that people don't end up getting fooled into thinking, oh, well, if I just do this, you know, all my problems will be solved. Because at the end of the day, there is no trick to happiness. There's no trick to solving all your problems. There really is no trick. The only thing that you can do to bring change about in your life is to change yourself. That's it. Change yourself, change your mindset, how you perceive things, your perspective. That's how you make change, you know? That's what you can control. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to leave you guys with that thought. Again, I will be releasing videos as well, just to explain where I've been. but it's good to be back. If you found the contents of the video helpful, feel free to leave a like, a comment, or subscribe if you want to see more of stuff of content like this. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.